Have you ever felt that quiet, kind of nagging desire to just finally stop procrastinating? To actually crush those goals you've been putting off forever? Maybe read that huge stack of books gathering dust on your nightstand and just completely transform your life in, say, 6 months? Well, let's dive right into this. Because the truth is, getting there is actually a lot simpler than you might think. But it does require a pretty radical shift in how we operate. So, welcome to our explainer on what we call the cave mode protocol. I mean, have you ever really noticed how trapped we are by our own distractions? It's kind of wild to think about. It's exactly like the prisoners in Plato's famous myth of the cave. You know, the ones who lived their whole lives chained in the dark, thinking these fleeting shadows on a wall were the actual real world? We're basically doing the exact same thing right now. We sit in these metaphorical shadows, illuminated by the cold, dim blue light of our screens, just endlessly scrolling. And we end up confusing these cheap digital illusions for a real, meaningful life. Sure, searching for the truth and hitting your actual potential is hard, but staying comfortably numb in the dark, that's a tragedy. Section 1. The illusion of comfort. As sombras en que viveras.
So, we're living in this illusion of comfort, right? And so many of us, we look absolutely everywhere for answers. We're obsessing over the newest productivity hacks, downloading trending apps, basically looking everywhere except inward. But maybe the real problem is that we are actively avoiding looking at our own limitations. To break free from those shadows we just talked about, we have to stop looking for some external magic trick and actually start exploring our internal landscape. So what exactly is the fix? Well, enter cave mode. And listen, this isn't a punishment, it's a liberation. Cave mode is this incredible immersive protocol of personal transformation. It's specifically designed to strip away distractions and basically force you to confront your inner limitations so you can accelerate your success. It's a real-world shortcut. Unlike all those super rigid, impossible routines you see online, this is actually a flexible tool. It just demands intense, immersive focus to help you build the skills that will radically transform your life in a seriously short amount of time.
Section 2. Sharpening the axe. O poder do modo caverna.
Okay, so cave mode requires a complete paradigm shift. Let me be super clear about this. We are not talking about finding balance here. If you're looking for a method that just lets you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, just, a little bit less, this definitely isn't for you. This is about absolute, unwavering immersion. For 6 months, you are directing all your focus, all your energy, and literally all your attention toward one single objective or a very specific set of goals. Think about that famous Abraham Lincoln quote, "If I had only 1 hour to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 45 minutes sharpening my axe." That hits the nail on the head, right? Intense preparation and focused execution are worth way more than years of distracted, kind of aimless effort. You really don't need years to change your life. You need 6 months of real, undivided focus. You need to spend time in the cave forging your steel so that when you finally strike, you cut right through whatever obstacles are in your way. Now, I know what you're thinking. Giving up 6 months of your normal life sounds incredibly daunting. No way, right? So we start here, 31. I challenge you to start with a totally realistic 31-day commitment. Just treat it as a test run. Apply the cave mode protocol for just 1 month to prove to yourself that you can actually gain real traction. And then, at the end of those 31 days, you evaluate. If you feel that undeniable momentum, that real tangible traction in your daily routine, well, then you commit to the full 6-month journey. Section 3. The unnegotiable foundations. Forjando corpo and mente. So, to actually achieve this level of laser focus, cave mode relies on a mix of mandatory, unnegotiable pillars and some flexible ones. And honestly, this specific combo is exactly what makes the whole method so incredibly powerful. It gives you the ironclad structure you need, but without totally breaking under the pressure of your unique everyday life. There are 3 foundational, unnegotiable pillars that are basically going to forge an unbreakable baseline for you over the next 6 months. Pillar 1 is physical exercise. Pillar 2 is regulate dopamine. And Pillar 3 is active intellect. You absolutely cannot negotiate your way out of these. These 3 steps are the bare minimum daily requirements to keep you moving forward, creating that structured growth we're looking for. Let's break these down, starting with Pillar 1, the body. Look, the stark truth is simply this. A strong mind without a strong body is pretty much useless. And let's be real, nobody needs another lecture on the scientific benefits of working out. We all know it's good for us. The issue isn't knowing, the issue is execution. It's about that unwavering, no matter what, consistency of just doing it regularly. Honestly, it doesn't even matter what specific type of exercise you choose. Just adapt it to your routine, but you absolutely must move your body every single day to build that physical foundation for everything else you're going to do. Okay, let's dive into this next pillar because, frankly, it's arguably the most critical for just surviving the modern world: regulating your dopamine. On one side, we have cheap dopamine, the endless scrolling, the video games, that super shallow social media validation we're all guilty of seeking out. But on the other side, we have earned dopamine. That's your deep work, intense studying, rigorous exercise. And the crazy thing is, the whole world is actively trying to make you addicted to the cheap side because your attention is literally the most valuable currency of the 21st century. Your brain, it can't distinguish where the dopamine comes from. It just knows it wants more. So you have to reclaim your focus by basically starving your brain of that cheap digital dopamine. Think about it. If you spend hours on autopilot, your brain just wastes its precious energy figuring out how to get back to the screen, instead of, thinking about how to grow or how to actually solve the real problems in your life. But by cutting out that endless scrolling and ditching the shallow content, your brain naturally adapts. It actually begins to crave those deep, meaningful, earned rewards that you need to build a life you're genuinely proud of. You detach from all that chaotic noise, and finally, you find clarity. Which brings us to our third unnegotiable requirement: active intellect. You have got to seek active learning every single day. So many people fall into this trap of passive consumption, just reading for the sake of reading, or passively watching a bunch of informative videos without any real intent. But true transformation, that requires action. You need to grab a physical notebook, take notes, highlight things, and actively apply what you're learning to your life. Knowledge is literally the ultimate multiplier of results. If you don't value knowledge and actively go after it, the world is inevitably going to find a way to pull you backward. All right, so once those three unnegotiable foundations are totally locked in, you get to personalize your journey. Let's talk about the flexible pillars. This is where you choose 3 flexible habits that perfectly align with the exact person you are trying to become. This could be anything: learning a specific new skill, creating content every day, meditating, diving into a new hobby, or hey, even quitting coffee if you want. The choice is completely yours. The key here is that these flexible pillars have to make absolute sense for the current season of your life and the specific destination you're trying to reach. You are basically planting seeds for your very specific future. Section 4. Revealing the masterpiece. Art, the subtract song. Have you ever noticed that when you look at people who have radically transformed their lives, they didn't do it by adding 50 new complicated routines to their day? Ultimate success isn't about adding more noise. It's actually about the profoundly elegant art of subtraction. There's this brilliant historical anecdote about a conversation between Pope Julius II and Michelangelo. The Pope basically asked Michelangelo how on earth he managed to sculpt the magnificent, flawless statue of David. And Michelangelo simply replied that he looked at the block of marble and just removed everything that was not David. He literally chipped away the excess to reveal the perfection that was already hiding inside. And that is so true for us too. The best things in life are born from removal, not excess. You have to remove the disorder, remove the complexity. By stripping away your unnecessary habits, the shallow content, maybe some toxic relationships, and those endless paralyzing choices we make every day, you don't become empty. Actually, scratch that. You become virtually unstoppable. You reveal the masterpiece of your own potential simply by chipping away at everything that's holding you back.
Section 5. Facing the inner voice. O conforto no desconforto.
Now, I have to be completely honest with you guys here. While this method is beautifully simple, it is definitely not easy. As you enter the cave, as you strip away all those comforting distractions and that cheap dopamine, you are going to be left completely alone with yourself. You're going to have to face your inner voice. And honestly, finding comfort in that discomfort is the true hidden trial of this entire protocol. The silence can be deafening when you don't have a glowing screen to drown out your own thoughts. To succeed on this inner journey, you have to finally confront your negative beliefs, completely silence that inner critic, and push past what you think your limits are. Because growth only happens right there in the shadows of our own discomfort. You have to learn to just sit with that difficult feeling, stare down your own demons, and hold your ground. Because let me tell you, once you master the art of being deeply uncomfortable without reaching for an easy digital escape, you unlock a level of mental fortitude that most people will literally never experience. Which brings us to our final ultimate question for you today. Ask yourself honestly, are you finally ready to step into the cave and meet your true potential? The cave mode protocol isn't just about some basic productivity life hack, it's about a total, complete metamorphosis. Once you embrace this structure, eliminate those distractions, and willingly step into that necessary discomfort, your life is going to accelerate at a speed that probably seems unimaginable to you right now. The light is waiting for you on the other side. You just have to be brave enough to walk through the dark to get there.